Reminds you a bit like wood green if you've ever ridden the time trial in real life.
I do have a question for Marcus Cromie, and he's saying, cheers guys, hope Fiona has her knitting with her tonight. Marcus, do I look like the type that can actually knit to you? No, I don't have any knitting. I'm just come prepared to slag people instead, and that's my entertainment for the evening.
And talking about Marcus, I was just having a wee quick look at Swift Power there, and I'm not too sure if Marcus is even aware, but he's been upgraded to B category. So congratulations, Marcus.
Hello, Marcus.
Gulp.
Dear.
Poor man. But he's riding in the seas tonight.
Oh no! Marcus Cromie's a sandbagger.
Marcus, I'm just going to say you got upgraded to Bs because you were giving me a solid lead outs there recently as well, so that's my fault.
Okay, we're on to the C's now. We're about to start. 10 seconds roughly. I'm going to flick back and get the B's.
I'll try and grab them some way off the start line here.
Yep.
There we go, straight in. So we're following Mr. Rick Hanna here, straight off the line. You can see that the starting swifts that they give him says are absolutely brutal. Close to 400 watts for Rick here.
Yeah, and I see around him there, June McMahon is doing around 5.8 watts per kg as well. So yeah, June's definitely putting in big numbers.
June will always have a really high watts per kilo because due to her weight, but her outright power would be a lot lower than the majority of guys in C. Yeah, so her watts per kilo would be, if you look at the results, they look like, oh god, she shouldn't be in C category, but because her outright power is quite low, with the way Swift Power rules work, she is fully entitled to ride in C category. So thanks to this start, June will struggle to stay with the main group, but as it gets to the volcano, she'll be ripping the legs of all these guys on the volcano.
Yeah, June will definitely do well on the climb. She's a strong rider, and yeah, definitely. If you cycled with June, you'll know that she tends to drop a lot of the guys on the climbs as well. So we'll keep an eye out for her there as well. And I see P. McBride has actually managed to race, and he's in the C category. Do we have?
Yes, that's Ryan's father. He actually logged into Swift Power, and he is a proper C rider.
Ah, okay, we don't need to give out to him then.
No slagging, unfortunately. We'd like to give Pete a good slagging, but we can't tonight.
So if you look back now, you see how strung out the bunch in the C group is. So it's vital you get into the front echelon of the group here. After about 2 or 3 minutes out the road, the bunch will settle down. Everyone thinks, I can never keep this speed up. But if you do try and push yourself well above threshold for the first couple of minutes, the speed will settle down and everyone will start riding through. So we're following young Adam Ward here from Ban Wheelers. Adam's second, I think he's second overall in the league. Correct me, Fiona, am I wrong?
Let me check. Yes, you're right.
He's second overall. Another young lad, he's only 13 or 14 years old. So a bit like June, he's very, very light. He's got a low power. So his watts per kilo are well above the C category. But because his outright power is, I think it's below 150 watts, he's entitled to ride in the C category as well. So this is a course that Adam could do very, very well in. He was second last week over the Box Hill course, and I caught him with about 100 meters to go and couldn't get around him in the sprint.
And you a sprinter as well, Ross?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I was braving out every orifice last week just trying to get across to them guys after Box Hill.
Right, so I found some D riders with 5 minutes until they're allowed to go. So,
who else do we have in the B category tonight? Zoe Lindsay, I see her name popping up on screen there as well. So Zoe is one of the junior riders as well. She's been really, really consistent across the past couple of weeks as well. So I think we've been seeing good improvements there from Zoe, and she's racing for TC Racing this year as well. So hopefully she'll get out on the road and do some real life racing also.
So we see now in the C category, the bunch is split into 2 already, which is actually really surprised with. You can see I'm just going to a wider view, I'm getting a bit confused here. You can see in the overhead shot, there's a massive gap in the middle of the 2 bunches now. So I'm surprised actually they've split up so much already. So we're following June McMahon, and you can see June's watts are very low. They fluctuate because she's going to the front of the group and dropping back into the draft and so on.
Yeah, June is one of our North Down riders and also an Ironman athlete as well. So she's quite strong. And also the fact that this is the longer race tonight, I think will also suit June because obviously she has that endurance element to her fitness as well that will come in handy.
Okay, any more shout-outs? Marcus Cromie's actually come on there. That was close, and then me and the bees, bloody joke. And then he goes, so I'm quicker than Pedro? Yes, Marcus, you are.
You're flying it, Marcus?
I've just watched following Dougie Lenny now. He's made the front group, so that's a good ride for Dougie because he'll admit himself he had been struggling the last couple of weeks, so great to see him up there in the front group.
Yes, but it must be all his after party training on Sunday that's got him going well as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. He's organising that every Sunday. Still on the go, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I think Dougie's committed himself to every Sunday. Obviously, due to his family commitments and so on, Dougie hasn't been getting out the road as much as he really like, but he seems to have really taken the Swift. He's getting great numbers on a Sunday morning, and I've ridden it quite a few times, and it's great crack. It really is a great ride. He does a really, really good group.
Okay, bees are off.
Mark, there's a question coming in from Glenn for you on the YouTube channel.
What was that new data screen on the Garmin?
In advance of the race starting.
I got a new Garmin during the week there. That's a private joke. I tell you what, I got a new Garmin and I did a ride on Tuesday, and you know the way it gives you a wee thing how many days for recovery. I don't know if you know.
Yep.
4 days it was given me on Monday.
I've gotten a couple of those myself, and you're just there being like, does anybody take 4 days to recover?
4 days?
Yeah. You know you've had a good ride when that happens.
I can see you're following Richard Cowan in the B race here at the moment. Richard was a C rider last week and got upgraded after last week's race. So congratulations to Richard to make it up into the B category. So it just shows over the space of the last 8 weeks, his fitness has improved quite a bit.
Fair play, Richard. We know him from taking photos.
So that's Marcus and Richard both got upgraded after last week. So well done, guys. Great riding.
Is Marcus racing or just slobbering on YouTube?
Just slobbering, maybe. Who knows? Who else do we have shouts coming in from? So Ryan Fagan isn't racing tonight, but he's watching the live stream and he's saying good luck to his brother Aaron, who's racing the bees tonight. So Aaron, good luck. The bees are underway already as well, so we'll keep an eye out for him.
Just got another shout out there. It's just saying it's from BNBN Mac, whoever that is. Owen McKee will be on the podium again. I hope to see him on the podium, but I think he's going to find it tight because he's a big lad. And the Volcano may be a fraction too long for him, guessing. But it could be pretty fun.
2 wins so far throughout the league as well, so you never know. It's not easy getting a win in the C category, so he might be able to do it. And in terms of overall points, I would think that he'll manage to stay within the top 3 in the C category overall anyway.
It's a great ride. He's really improved. I just remember watching his name pop up at the start when I was racing back in the Cycling Ireland League, and he was there or thereabouts. But the last 8 weeks, he has improved, and like I say, he's got 2 wins over the league, which is great to see. So fair play to him.
Yep, and a shout out to all the Jamara CC riders as well. That comes in from Graham Beckett. Good luck to all their riders.
I'm just trying to jump back to the A group here from starting here, Mark.
I'm trying to find.
And obviously, we have Tommy must be listening in to make sure that we're doing an alright job in his presence because we have a comment from Tommy. Yeah, Dougie's been doing a lot on Zwift recently, so thanks, Tommy. If you can send tips or advice, that's welcome.
Anyone got an idea how long is the day start here?
About a minute.
Okay.
Roughly.
Nearly there.
I'm just trying to find Marcus Cromie, but he mustn't be racing.
So you're following Claire Richardson, the leader of the Ladies B League here, so it's great to see. She's still up there mixing it with the men.
Yeah, Claire's got massive power though as well. She's such a strong rider, and even then I think probably where she comes into her own is towards the end of the race as well. Her sprint is phenomenal. So I think she'll probably outsprint most of the men, to be honest.
This race
Did you get the maze there, Ross? Yeah?
Yeah, we're basically just about to go. We're still in the paddock here, waiting to roll out. I'm sitting with Mr. Glenn Kinning.
Oh, we'll have to go across to that when that starts.
No, we can't.
Okay, that's the way now, guys. They just started there.
Okay.
Glenn, you're getting no shout outs tonight, that's all I'm saying. Mark can tell you what my issue is here.
So the A's have started. They actually started quite a relaxed start, but it looks like there wasn't any crazy red numbers. So the guys know they've got a long race ahead of them here. So they're hopefully going to ride. They're going to have to ride together. They've quite a lot of time to make up that D group. In fact, there's quite a lot of time to make up the C group as well. So, but they're saying there's two hard hills. So that's the place where the A's will make a lot of time on the climbs itself.
Yeah, it's a massive handicap. It's, as you said, it does sound big, but 21 minutes just seems huge to try and make up.
I think that last week, for perspective, up Box Hill, the top A riders were over 3 minutes quicker than me up Box Hill.
That's right, yeah. Because we did that stopwatch from the bottom to the top as we were going through, and it was working out roughly 3 minutes difference, yeah.
Oh yeah, but Lindsay Watson is riding the A category, so you know it'll be grand. Lindsay will just pull the group up there.
Friend of the show, where is he?
Yeah, Lindsay's been very quiet.
We're following Stuart Henry here. There's Stuart Henry from North Down. So Stuart hasn't ridden for the last couple of rounds, so he should be well rested. I'd like to see a bit of a result from him tonight.
Marcus Crummy says shelled.
From the B's already?
Must be.
I see last week's winner there, Gary Walker, floating about, so he's riding tonight as well.
He's definitely in with a shout after last week's performance, surely.
He is. Tommy's giving him a shout out, so we're getting sent in here on the side, and he's saying, "You guys are doing great. Gary Walker has his time on Volcano, but needs a good group and then a good descent to finish." Tommy, I don't even. Guys, you talk the technical terms here. Basically, I think Tommy's saying is keep an eye out for Gary on the Volcano climb because it looks like he has a good time on it. Tommy, I can't get much more technical than that, so I'm struggling here.
I was just looking at the A. There's actually one of the A riders has chosen a mountain bike to race tonight, and I have no reason why you want to do that, especially in the start of the course.
Who is
big
it?
Time. I don't know. I've just seen him flicking about there.
Someone we don't know.
He's close to the back of the group. Another shout out to Big Fitzy from Belfast. He got upgraded from B to A last week as well. So fair play to him getting stuck in here with the A boys tonight.
He wasn't long going up too. I think he only started doing the last couple of weeks. He didn't do the full series, I don't think.
Yeah, he's picked and chooses races, so he has. So he's been racing smart.
Ross, this is a question for you then. So there is a question coming through on the YouTube channel which is saying, what happens to riders who get upgraded halfway through the league, I guess? How do they win their category? So I suppose they get bumped out of their category standings when they get upgraded, right?
They do, yes. Like I say, if it happens in the middle of the league, there's not much to do. We're run by Swift Power rules, so we'll have to run with the rules. If you do get bumped up, your points, basically, you'll get 1 point for the round you already have written in the lower category.
Okay. Interesting. Lindsay Watson is trying to say that he's tired tonight. Lindsay, we're not taking excuses. Up you get. You'll be grand. You're 21 minutes to catch up on.
I'm tired of him coming second or third, so I want to see him win tonight.
He's not racing. He says he's tired. Well, maybe.
Oh, for goodness sake.
He said no chance, and then he said tired tonight. So I don't know if he's racing or watching. I actually was out on, I think it was Tuesday morning, and I left the house here at about 6:15, and I was coming back through Warrenstown, and Lindsay was coming the other way.
Right. Wow.
So early starts for both of us there on the Tuesday. So I know he was out in real world.
So we're just looking at.
And he says, of course I'm racing. Lindsay, I had faith in you. But, Mark, I hope he gave Lindsay a wave in real life when he saw. Good. So he's probably like, who's that?
I wave at everybody.
I'm just looking at following the A riders here again, and I'm hovering around the back of the bunch, just trying to pick out. What I've noticed is all the top guys who would be up there in the results overall, seem to be saving their powder for the volcano. Not one of them have gone to the front, so it's all the inexperienced Swifters are beating their heads off the front into the wind. I know there's no wind in game, obviously, but they are taking all the virtual wind in their face, whereas the smart guys are sitting in the back of the group drafting.
The virtual wind. The good one.
Mark, do you want to know who I do see who's racing tonight in the A category?
Hold on, let me guess. Would it be Darnell Moore?
It's Darnell, yeah.
Yo.
Go on.
I've told you before, I've deleted all his stuff off. I was only giving him a shout out once.
No, you're fibbing. I know, but you're a big fan. You're a big fan. Darnell, if you see Mark at a race, can you please go up and say hello to him, because he's really worried, like, when he meets you in person, that you're not going to know who he is. And like, this was a discussion that we were having, so just for the sake of us, we go up and give him a hug or something. Like, he's a big fan.
No hugs, COVID.
An autograph would be appreciated.
Darnell's biggest fanboy.
Yeah, he has
Yes.
a page.
Stop it.
Next will be an Instagram page.
But he'll be taking out one of them injunctions against me.
I don't blame him.
But at least we'll find it funny. It's cool.
Right, I'm trying to find time gaps, but I haven't got any, so I was hoping I was going to fill in with that.
Tommy can just text us the time gaps.
I'll have a quick look at Swift Power. I've got it up beside me here.
Between C's and D's, it's telling me 11 minutes. 16 between the B's and the C's. I don't have any time gaps for A's yet.
Yeah, I'm getting the same.
Try and get some real world time gaps here if I flick back down to the last rider in the B's.
And while you're doing that, we have another shout out. So Gavin Hamilton saying good luck to all the North Down riders tonight. Sorry that he couldn't be joining for the finale. I don't feel like any of you're actually sorry that you're missing the racing tonight. But yeah, good luck to all the North Down riders. I think it's been great to see so many of them out and about racing, and hopefully we'll see you again on the road soon.
No time gap, sorry. Oh. No.
We're just following in the A category here, Michael Dempster. Michael is a former North Down member, so he is, but he now lives in London. Michael was a top-class schoolboy and junior racer, and he's the only rider I know that has Mark Cavendish beaten in a criterium as an under-16.
Wow.
There we go. Good claim to fame.
Very much so, yeah. And there's Mr. Glenn Kinning himself.
You, Glenn.
Name's not allowed to be mentioned. Glenn, I'm only messing. You're going well. We'll give you that.
I had a quick flash up a time gap there. 6 minutes 40 between B's and C's.
Okay.
So we're getting there.
That would be about right. Like I say, because we're well over the R for the C category. In fact, I'd be surprised if the top C guys go below the R. I'd be quite shocked.
We shall just wait and see.
Okay, so what we're following now in the A category is the main sponsor of our race, Mr. Daniel Daly. So I just want to say a massive thank you to Daniel and all his team at the Daly's Hyundai for obviously sponsoring the league and providing all the winners' jerseys. We've had the final jerseys proofed. We're getting them made by BioRacer, and I've seen the final finished template of what they're going to be looking like, and they look fantastic. If I was a winner of one of these jerseys, I'd be more than happy to wear it out in the road, showing off the Daly's Hyundai logo.
For sure, it's been great to have their support during the league, so very much appreciated.
Is there going to be a TUZ jersey for anyone to buy at some stage, do you think, Ross?
Yes, we've talked about this, and there is a design in the process.
Say no more then.
We can't give a time frame on it at the moment.
Okay.
But there seems to be quite a bit.
Stay tuned for more details.
Yeah. What's his space?
The commentators will just be, modeling this the next time one day, just casually. So keep an eye out.
Yeah, I think the next time the commentary crew will maybe have to come on live.
Yeah, but that means I actually have to get out of my dressing gown, so I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I'm just watching the A group here, and they all seem to be rolling through quite well. They're going to the front. You can see their wattage increase as they're on the front, but then they're only doing like 5-10 seconds pull on the front, then easing off the power and dropping back into the draft again, recovering for 3 or 4 minutes, then easing to the front again, just keeping the speed high. Like they're sitting at just shy of 50 k's an hour here on the flat. So I know the speed in game isn't sort of compared to real life, but that's pretty fast for Swift racing.
Yeah, that definitely is some speed.
Yeah, the majority of A riders that you see, watching Daniel here, and he's hovering around 280, 300 watts on the flat. So if you drop down to like the D riders, then guys can probably hold about 200, 250 watts. I know some of the sandbaggers won't like, but some of the genuine Ds. So there's quite a big difference in power. And again, these A riders would be very, well, the majority of them would be quite light compared to some of the D riders as well. So the watts per kilo will be through the roof, especially when they hit the climb of the volcano.
Yeah, there's such a strong bunch within the A category tonight as well. Obviously, we've mentioned Glenn as well. I see Paul MacArthur from North Down. He is still up there with the group and riding well. Luke Joyce as well. His name is appearing, and I'm pretty sure, or maybe I'm wrong there when I'm saying was he upgraded this year, but he seems he's for the past couple of weeks he's been doing really, really well in the A's.
I think he has been an A all along, Luke.
Ah, my bad. Just run with
I could be wrong, but I think he was.
So we're just following Gareth McKee from Banbridge Cycling Club. Gareth is he's a former national mountain bike champion. In fact, I can't remember how many times. He's won it quite a few times.
Yeah,
so he has.
times, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a very, very talented rider off-road, but he also has he can turn his hand to the road racing as well. So he's had some good results on the road.
I always find that mountain bikers in general are really, really strong. Like, you don't realize until they come off the road and they start cycling with you and just dropping you on hills. You're like, whoa, how did they do it? But my God, is it a workout trying to cycle up hills on the mountain bike?
I think some of you triathletes should do a lot more mountain biking because it would help you go around the corners a bit quicker.
Are you saying triathletes have bad bike handling skills?
Oh, it's shocking.
Just good at riding in a straight line, show them a corner and they crap themselves?
That's why they're all so good at Swift, because they want to turn around corners.
To be fair, he's got a really good point, and especially when you're riding in a pack, I think that's probably one of the things that like intimidate me the most about road racing is when you go out on the road and people are just like hearing it around corners, and I'm there being like, what do you mean I can't brake, or there's people too close to you. So I think you make a really good point. Bike handling for triathlete versus roadies is not as good as you think. I have been doing practice on my mountain bike though, Ross, so I'm getting a little bit less crap.
I remember catching up with a group of I'm not mentioning any names, but a certain triathlon club around the local
there's
roads.
only one triathlon club on the peninsula, so I think we know.
And then jumping into their group and obviously riding through, but they were riding two abreast in the group, and I was riding beside somebody, and obviously being a racing cyclist for many years, you're quite confident where you sit in the group and how close you sit to somebody. And the majority of the guys I would ride with, your handlebars would be sitting an inch, maybe 2 inches apart. Yeah. And I was doing this, just thinking nothing of it, and the poor guy beside me was having a heart attack, thinking he was going to crash. And asked me to move out.
I can only imagine. It's something that you take for granted when you're a road racer. Everyone is so used to this. But I remember my first race, and I positioned myself like literally right beside the edge of the road, because I was like, well, nobody's going to go up my left-hand side. They're only going to overtake me on the right. There was not that much space between me and the hedge, and some guy came up my inside, and I honestly nearly died. So, you learn your lessons.
Yeah, you see that the A group have just passed that wee rise out of the desert there, so they're on this little downhill now. So these guys probably won't ease off the power. As you can see, we're just following Nathan Mullen here.
I could see the mountain biker.
I can't find him. I've been clicking through.
Just saw him a second ago, and I was there laughing. He's pedaling away to his heart's content.
Yeah, well, whoever he is, he's obviously very strong because he hasn't been dropped yet, and he's on a bike and mountain bike.
I'll try to see his name.
The names, or say the bikes in game do make a big difference, especially on a flat section like this here.
Update on time gaps. We have B riders starting to pick up some C riders here. Just obviously boys that have been shelled out the back of the C group, and the next group on the road is 36 seconds. So start
Getting closer.
Getting closer.
What was the distance you said tonight, Ross?
42 kilometers.
Yeah.
42. Okay.
This is the longest race in the whole league. We've tried to keep, sort of tried to keep the majority of them for around that 30 kilometer bracket, because it was like 40-45 minutes races. But I thought just in the evening you don't want to be really racing any longer than an hour. But I thought for the grand final, push the boat out, make it a big course, and make it a true worthy winner tonight.
Save the best for last.
According to the boss man Tommy, the D's are starting the climb now.
Also, according to Glenn Dunwoody, Gareth McKee is on the MTB.
Oh, is he? Let me see if I can find him.
Have a wee look there.
He's doing well anyway. Like, I literally just saw him paddling along there beside Lindsay Watson a second ago. So, Lindsay, you're being overtaken by a mountain bike, so you might want to step it up.
He's probably sitting looking at me in the face, but I just can't find him yet. Oh, near had him there. Where'd he go?
Oh, I just got a really nice compliment through, so I'm going to call it out saying, Fiona, your bike handling skills are good at Grey Abbey on the club run. So, thank you. I didn't hit anybody. That's all that matters. So, yes, you're right. And I don't know, so I can't even say thanks to them, but I've been working on my bike handling skills.
So it is McKee on the mountain bike?
It is! A brave man.
Crazy.
He's riding a Scott mountain bike, full suspension mountain bike in the A category, and it hasn't been dropped yet. I am really impressed.
I wonder what they're doing part of the race series. There's some 3-day race series going on to try win a mountain bike or something, and it's a mountain bike league. I wonder has he been doing those races and forgot to swap his bikes over.
Just looking back here, the groups seemed to stay together. Nobody got really tailed off on that climb there, so the A's are riding really super efficient tonight. So to come along this the underground pass here, or the underwater tunnel, there is a little kick out of this. You can just see the road rising up now. It's only up to 3 or 4%, but again, if you're not concentrating, it can catch you out. So you can see Gareth's watts here, because he's on the mountain bike, he's putting the 500 watts out, got a piss wee rise.
And we've tested this before as well in just like a normal Zwift ride, and somebody riding a mountain bike versus me on the road bike, and the amount of effort and comparison that they were having to put in was phenomenal. So the fact that he's staying with the pack is just really, really impressive. I think what you're saying, man of the match for sure, well done.
Yep, definitely. In regards to distance on handicap, I'm just having a look at both screens here. Between A's and B's, it's roughly 2.4k. So they don't have much to make up, really.
Not really. Like I say, once they get onto the volcano, some of these A riders will be climbing at a full watt per kilo more than the top B riders. So a full watt per kilo on a climb of, for these guys, 7 to 8 minutes.
Yeah.
You could take an easy minute out of that straight away. And then you've still obviously a lot of kilometers to go to the finish from the top of the volcano.
Yeah.
I think we have some people wondering where Ross on a bike is. Ross on a bike is in retirement for the night. He had his vaccination, so he's feeling a little bit sorry for himself, and decided to join us for the commentary instead of actually race.
Yeah, myself and my wife both got our jabs on Friday evening there, and within about 2 hours she started shivering. And I said, I'm fine, don't be silly, it's only a wee jab in the arm. And both went to bed. She woke up feeling 100% the next day, and I woke up like a geriatric man. And was in bed for the next 3 days, thinking I was going to die.
Well, I mean, what does that say that your wife was grand and the next day you were moaning? So
I know.
I'm just going to say it, but like soft was the word that springs to mind here.
Yeah.
Funny enough, she said the same thing.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, this is a clear example of like how man flu is just overrated.
So the B's have roughly about 2Ks to go to get this first climb. We'll probably pan over to them and watch them do the start of it, will we?
Yeah, over the B's. Like I said, there's a wee kicker here in the B's. They just went across the sprint line. There's a bridge, and then they'll hang a right. I I don't think you'll see any attacks or anything in this first little hill. But after this, there's that roller section, the S's it's called within Swift. It can catch a few riders out as well because there's a constant gradient change up and down, and it's really hard to maintain a high level of power across this.
It's up to 6% there now.
This is a wee short kicker. There's only about 40-50 seconds worth, and then you're in the wee downhill straight away.
Yeah,
see there's power up speed
as well. And the way it loops back and forward as well is slightly deceiving, but the elevation really never goes up on it that much, so it's like 1 or 2% pretty much the entire way up. So you're kind of doubling over on yourself for a couple of loops there.
Yeah, I did see a feather part. Oh look, we've lost everybody again.
I see that.
There we go.
They jump
That's
back in.
strange. What happened there?
Swift glitch.
So what's in the base here? If you keep an eye on their power, basically it'll be going up and down, up and down. These wee rollers pull the legs clean out of you, so they do.
We're actually watching A. Rafferty, no heart rate monitor on, so he's an instant DQ. See if we can get somebody we know here with a C. Richardson.
You can find one of the
Claire
Bloomer
Richardson
brothers.
there. Yeah.
Bloomer brothers
Good
are
ones
good
to
riders
watch.
from Cookstown as well.
Just wait.
Claire's doing a good ride tonight. It'll be interesting to see once they actually hit the climb.
So the climb comes up roughly 20k, isn't that right?
Yes.
Yeah, so they're going to go across the bridge in a minute, are they? After kind of like the roller section, Ross, is it?
It's more of a once they get over the rollers, they'll hang a left, and it's like a boardwalk sort of.
Yeah.
They'll head across the volcano. You can see the smoke in the distance already there.
Yeah.
Where the temperature heats up again as you start climbing.
Claire Richardson seems to be going really, really well and putting out a really good power over this section here as well.
Heart rate nice and low also.
I know, she's super strong.
She's saving herself.
Probably not even
She is. She's saving herself.
I see Mark Rushby there as well. Mark's another really strong rider. He's doing well up the front also in the Bs.
Just say Marcus Cromie said Gareth McKay done the Mourne Wall at the weekend, and that sounds brutal.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, seen him posting about that.
How long is that?
About 6 or 7 hours or something, I think.
Back.
I'll actually look
Not
that
him
up.
today.
And what is it?
It's the wall that runs across the moorings. You walk the whole length of it.
Oh, so it's not even anything to do with the bike. Why?
No.
No, it's nothing to do with a bike.
Why would you do it?
Right, we should be nearly
Yeah,
there.
they're coming onto the volcano
There's the lava.
section now as well.
Yeah, this is the flat section before we even get to the climb. There's still a few kilometers to go yet.
Yeah, so Mourne Wall Challenge, if anyone's interested. 18.7 miles, 6 hours 35.
You need to translate that to kilometers for me, else I don't know what you're talking about.
Speak English, you know.
This is like kilometers is the real language here.
It's
It'll sound better if you say
18.7
it.
miles.
I'm just looking at the Swift Companion app here. If Marcus Cromie is listening, the A group aren't too far from catching you, Marcus. Heads up.
What are your time gaps there, Ross? Can you see?
I have. Let's double check. There is only 3.5 minutes between the A and B, the front of the groups now.
Okay. And the B group are in the volcano now as well, so they're probably not that far from the climb now, are they?
They're still. They say you come out of this back out into the main
okay.
open air again, and then I think by the end of this road, instead of hanging right where you normally go back down to sea level, you hang left, and the climb will start.
Gotcha. I'm laughing at Mark because I can see his face on screen. Mark, is this not interesting?
I'm so tired, it's
yawning?
unbelievable. I'm so tired. On the go early.
You know, this is what happens when you're out in the road and not cycling on Zwift. It's taking up much of your time.
I know, but I need to be out early no matter what, if it's Swift or road.
I'm just watching
One
on
man for
the
one.
just watching in the background the A riders here, and there's about 5 or 6 riders had just been dispatched on the wee climb across the S's.
Ah.
So the speed must be quite high.
I'm actually just on Swift Power here trying to figure out time gaps. It's
This
telling
is the
me
climb now.
B's on the climb.
Yeah. Just
So that's the
coming up.
third. We dip down, and then the main climb starts proper now.
Yeah, just cross the line for it there. And it definitely seems to be getting a little bit faster there because, did I see somebody go up the front? No,
If
not
you
quite.
see the left there, the Volcano KOM, that must be the D riders there. CG Glendenning, he was a D.
Yeah, you're right.
Doing it in roughly 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see what the difference is between their times and B times, A times.
Well, Richard Lennon, I know he's a genuine D rider. He did it in 10 minutes 34. And he won't be getting DQ'd tonight because he obviously averaging well within the bracket for D category.
Yeah.
Anybody sort of ahead of thing, I would like Glendenning is obviously a sandbagger, so he's not in the race technically.
He's a regular sandbagger, so give him an award. Is
Is
there an award for sandbag? Are you getting a jersey made sandbagger?
That would be an epic jersey, wouldn't it? I'd wear it.
Make it happen.
Novelty prizes going out for the best sandbagger in the D category.
Right, 4%. Well, whenever the A's start at the bottom of the climb, Ross, we'll pan over to you.
Yeah.
They can't be too far from it now, actually.
Just put cross inside it, and then basically out the other side on the climb more or less starts within a kilometre.
Yeah, not too far.
I'm just trying to follow somebody here with a heart rate monitor on to see who's...
It's funny, the A's are picking up B riders, and I've seen a few C jerseys go back as well.
Yeah.
And you can see when they do catch the B guys are launching the power-ups to try and get into the draft of the
That is clever.
It's such a big kick and difference in speed. You know, then guys are probably, the A riders here sitting at 50 k's an hour, whereas the B riders probably sitting about 45 k's an hour if they're in a small group. So they're trying to lift it 5 k's an hour to get into that draft. It's quite a big effort.
As you can see, we're stringed out big time here in the B group.
Yeah, you can see it's a constant. They're going a wee bit of a downhill here, and then they'll kick back up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those like downhill, flat, and then like flat and uphill sections are really, really hard to ride, I think, because you're just flicking the gears all the time to try keep up the power.
If you pan over the A riders now, Mark, they're just about to hit the climb here. I think there's going to be some fireworks going off here because it's quite a big group, and some of the stronger, lighter guys won't want the strong sprinters to be hanging about going up this climb, and hopefully get rid of them by the top. The guys who were the smart riders who were sort of drafting around the back of the group across the desert straights at the flat start are all up at the front now. We're watching Paul McGarth at the minute here from North Down. But Paul's obviously, he's been about a few years now racing, super strong rider. He wouldn't be just one of the top A riders, so it'll be interesting to see how he fares trying to hang on to these guys in this lower section.
He is a very strong rider, and especially I think he is actually quite good on hills as well.
He is, yeah. He's quite lightly made up, and he's got quite a good power. But some of the guys have had nearly a full watt per kilo more on the hills on him.
Yeah, a couple of shout-outs coming through as well, so I'll just mention them while we're here. I had mentioned that I saw Mark Rushby racing in the B category, so we have a shout-out coming through from him saying Mark did an excellent time in the World Championships for Ironman in Kona. He did that in 2019, the same year that June McMinn did as well. So 2 very good Ironman athletes. So yeah, the long distance racing will suit them.
So you can see that the A group are starting to stretch out now here as well. How we pan back, have a look back. Yeah, it's more or less starting to go into one line.
Who's the lead of the A's? Can you see?
Pick up here. There's Mr. Walker last week. Just following wheels, so he is.
We have our young leading the B's up this climb. Well, when I say that there, it's B's and C's. We're all fully mixed now.
So you can see there's a few A's launching power-ups here, aero power-ups on the climb itself. That's a wee bit inexperienced there. I wouldn't be using this on the first section of the climb. I'd be saving them all for, like I say, that second section where it does really ramp up and gets a bit steeper. And I would, if you had like an aero power up, I wouldn't use it on the hill itself. I would use it one of the little down gradients like we're in at the minute. Try and get your speed up using that extra wee bit of aeroness, and then hit the next kick up with a bit more speed.
Yeah, that's a good point. Close up to the front, we can see Stuart Miller, who is in third place in the league. He's an RCC cyclist. Who I think we've said he's a good man on the hills. I've mentioned a couple of times he did the Everesting Challenge last year and did really, really well. So there's no surprise that he's quite near the front on this climb as well.
This front group, the Saints they're well bounced up at the minute. They haven't really struggled out too much here. They must be saving it for the second part of the hill. Like I say, it really does kick up. And the thing with the volcano climb, once you get to the top of it, it doesn't just go downhill straight away. You have to keep pedaling for about another 400 or 500 meters before the downhill officially starts. So again, a clever Swifter won't go all out for like the KOM banner at the top because it doesn't mean anything within our chase race league. But you save your power, kick over the top, and continue pushing. Keep the power really high for another 400 or 500 meters. And then when you get to the official downhill, ease off them.
How's McKee doing on the mountain bike?
I can't see him at the moment, so he could potentially be struggling in the front group there if he's still hanging on. But I'll let you know if I spot him. Okay. I can see they're coming up on a bunch of, is that B riders, Ross?
It is indeed, yeah. There's C riders mixed in here as well. We're just following Glenn Kinning, and he's still here at the front, so he's doing a good ride, but he's putting out big wattage here, over 400 watts.
Look at the heart rate.
Heart rate's 173.
Yeah.
He's going deep.
Come on, Glenn.
Some of the young riders here, like young Sam Coleman, he probably weighs about half the weight of a bag of coal as well, but he'll be rocketing up this because he's a real high watts per kilo. So it looks like somebody's putting the pace on now. Stuart Miller has went to the front here. Him and there's a French guy.
French
here.
person. Yeah.
Yeah. He's actually been right. He's ridden every round of the race. He's a
really?
Yeah, he's a kind of long distance triathlon specialist, and he really specializes in the Alpe d'Huez triathlon. So I think he's actually won it before. Wow. And Mr. Gary Walker has just used to pace in the front now, so it's really starting to stretch out.
So we won't just call the French guy a sandbagger because he's foreign and we don't know him, like we tend to do with a lot of the foreigners that win races.
You probably not even know what a sandbagger is.
He'll be like, what are you talking about? He probably isn't even listening to us, let's be honest.
It actually would be interesting to know if we do have anyone from like France or Spain listening. If you're listening, give us a comment on YouTube there.
Just look at here. Gary has pushed off quite early here. They haven't even reached the flat part in the middle of the climb, so he is pushing over 6 watts per kilo, 370, 400 watts. He's going hard, but he hasn't really got a decisive gap yet, so it's going to be hard for him to hold this group off behind.
Yeah. I think Tommy had mentioned that he has very good time up this climb, so he's obviously feeling confident in his abilities to hold those watts anyway and just deciding to go for it.
Yeah, because it's not a super steep climb, it is more beneficial to be in a group if you can. But like I say, if Gary wants to try and split the bunch, this is what you have to do and really put the power down. There's a couple of guys that come across to him here now. Anybody want to try?
Friend is back.
Anybody want to try and pronounce his name? Oh, just lost him.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go. Darnell there.
Yeah, I'll give it a... Oh, Darnell.
Never heard of him.
Well, in fact, they just reached the top here. They have flown up this. I've missed
the middle
section.
I think there's A in amongst these B riders that I'm following because A's keep popping in here. I don't know where I am.
Yeah, it's because of the way the volcano spirals up and there's riders coming down it as riders still coming up.
Yeah.
It's sort of confusing. Once we go off the volcano, it'll be a lot easier to follow.
Yeah, that was quite confusing there. So we've just seen Darnell pass under the banner at the top as well. So
So we're just following it. There's a Welsh guy here, Reese Howells, I think he's the manager for the Canyon Swift team. He's using a drafting power up, which is probably the best power up to have in this sort of scenario. He's missed the grip, so he's trying to go use all the wheels in front to hold on to the front grip here. Very strong front grip. You get Seth Dunwoody, Gary Walker. Anybody want to try and pronounce the French guy's name?
Where is he?
When I see it, lemon tree.
Lemon tree?
Yeah,
Lemon tree.
That's a little Chinese
I
around
like
the corner.
lemon tree now. That's the word going on.
So you can see we're following Gary Walker here. He's doing 0 watts. He just increases watts. Because of the downhill in here, you really have to keep an eye on your gradient. Anything up below 3%, you can't freewheel and go into the super tuck. It has to be above 3%, 4% upwards, and you need to be doing 57 kilometers per hour or faster to get any for that to work.
Yeah, super tuck is quite difficult going down this climb as well because you are getting those flat bits and stuff. But is it possible to try stay in super tuck on this descent, Ross?
It's hard. You need to really know this descent. You can do it if you've been riding the game quite a lot. You can super tuck quite a bit of it, but there is sections you do need to pedal on and keep the power up on. So we see the guys here super tucking at the moment. Lindsay Watson's made the front grip.
Yeah, so is Nathan Keown as well. So good to see him in the front group.
Many have we got in the front group? About 10 roughly?
Wouldn't he be that many?
Doesn't it? Yeah, it looks like.
8 or 9 maybe.
No, is Glenn in it?
Nope.
I don't see him.
Dear. I'm just trying to keep track of my own race here. That's why I'm not sort of.
So Lindsay Watson, for somebody who's tired, he's made the front group, so he can't be too tired.
But we knew he was just saying it.
Just having a wee joke.
Yeah.
So this is our front group here, guys. So this is where the win's going to come from tonight. We're just following that lead leader here, Seth Dunwoody. He's been a revelation of the league, I think. 14 years old. He's hammered. Well, he's not hammering. He's beaten these these seasoned senior road riders. But the young fella knows the game inside out. He's using every hack he has, trying to draft in at the right time. You can see he's just sitting here, letting the big guys do all the riding, and he's just saving his energy. Smart racer.
Yeah, I mean, 5 wins is really, really impressive over this series as well. So definitely seems well deserved, and a lot of work has gone into it. The question I have for you, Ross, is now, so we can see obviously different group of A riders going down this climb, but say, for example, the guys who hadn't quite managed to get to the top, is there any way that they're going to be able to catch up and make up this time after this downhill section?
Within reason, you need to have lost no more than 10 seconds, realistically, in Swift. You also need to be in a group unless you're Philip Ogana and can ride at 500 watts on your own, which the likelihood is going to be very, very slim. I've just seen there James Curry, who was tailed off going over the top of the climb, has got back on. So whereas the guys would have been doing super tuck and then pedaling a little bit on the not so steep bit, he would have had to have been putting out big watts on them not so steep bits.
I saw a few red numbers from him, so it's good that he's managed to get back on.
He's dug deep and got back on, so fair play to James Curry for getting back on there. So there's a few C riders mixed in here, a few B riders mixed in with this front group as well. The C riders, I'm putting my money on it, they'll probably get dropped on the wee rise up to the Italian village. The B riders may hang in, but they're swapping turns again in the front, they're riding through, they're eating into this handicap.
Well, do we have any idea of what time gaps are at the moment, or who's caught who?
I'm just trying to work out here distance between the leading B group, who I've got at the minute, and Ross's leading A group. You're looking at 1.8k difference. So it's coming down, because the last check-in was 2.5k in distance for the gap.
I like the comment that's coming from Glenn Dunwoody saying that the young guys are riding bikes hard and playing video games, so it's definitely right up their alleyway.
It's great to see the young fella. I think somebody made a comment on that earlier on. So it's great to see the young fellas actually riding and getting hooked the likes of this Swift game. Instead of sitting stuck playing a football game or a shooting game on the Xbox, whatever the consoles are at the minute. So it's nice to see them actually doing something that's benefiting their health at the same time.
Yeah, and obviously they know how to play the system. They're used to all the gaming, so they've got all the good tips, because definitely Seth rides really, really smart in this as well.
Yeah, can't give any solid time gaps. Swift Power's telling me nothing.
Right, there we go. Somebody pronounce his name.
We're calling him Lemon Tree.
Somebody said here on the comments it's Le Metru.
Is that how it's done?
That's not as fun as Lemon Tree, so I'm just going to beat it.
It was Aaron McCormick. Le Metru. There we go.
I don't know. I'm not buying it.
No? Lemon Tree?
Lemon Tree.
Yeah.
He'll appreciate it if he hears it.
Stats up on Swift Power here. I'm just trying to get up and see what his actually profile says. Because I think I looked at it before at the start of the league, and he had a wee bio on what results he'd done in that. So you see that the A's have just hit. There's a wee rise here up towards the Italian village. This is another part. If you're not concentrating, you see Gary Walker's went straight to the front. In fact, he's attacked on it.
I can't decide what screen I'm meant to be watching right now when you say that, Ross. Story of my life where I'm accidentally commentating on the wrong screen.
Gary's still on the front. He's pushing on. Nathan's tried to react. Hasn't been able to get on the wheel. Lindsay's closing.
Yeah, I see Lindsay going into red numbers there as well.
Lindsay's trying to close the gap to Gary.
Go on, Lindsay.
Just watching the likes of James Curry there and the French guy at 6.5 watts per kilo, trying to hold on there.
There we go. We've got him up. Thomas Lementruer, or Lementree, whatever it's pronounced. Specialist of mountain triathlons.
They're all triathletes.
Yeah, he's
on the triathlete.
Alpman winner or 2019 and Gran Fondo Santini Mount Fontu 2020.
Oh my lord. But also, can I just say, if he's a winner of the Alpe d'Huez triathlon, which is incredibly difficult, so basically with that, they're swimming in a lake on the mountain that's closed all year round and just opened for it. Then they have a 90k bike, and it's like literally all the way up Alpe d'Huez as well as one of the climbs in it. So imagine that as part of your race, and then from there they're going on and running a half marathon at altitude as well. So for all you cyclists, I'd like to see you be able to swim and run as well.
Just notice here, Lindsay and Gary Walker have gone off the front. They've got a very small gap. It's only 2 seconds, but they have to increase it to 3 seconds. So they have broke the elastic in the Swift draft algorithm, and they're approaching the final climb as well.
But still so they're on around, am I right in saying, around 33.8 kilometers? So they have, what was it, up to 40? Was it 42 you said? So still quite a long way to go. So do you think they can hold that for over 10k?
If they can get to this climb, both of them are very, very strong, very high watts per kilo. If you get to this climb and increase their lead, which I think can be done, but the tip of this climb is the bottom section of it is the steepest, and that's where you need to go deep. You need to push really hard in the steep part, try and get that gap as quickly as possible, and then after the climb isn't so steep, so you need to ride a real high tempo the rest of the way to the top, but an even tempo.
We're down to about 1.2 k's between your group and mine, Ross, so we're not far away. We're closing in.
Right, we're getting more pronunciation through on Lemon Tree, so they're saying that it's Lemaru.
Oh, he says it's not Rue, it's Ruh.
Oh, not Lemaru. But yeah, look, it still sounds complicated. Lemon Tree for the win.
Oh.
Okay.
So I do appreciate we're getting tips on this though. Like that's brilliant.
You see how steep this climb is now, guys. Gary and Lindsay have got 2 seconds. This front group have put a big effort in to try and get back across, but the two in front are still pushing. So you can see the orange numbers starting to pop up. Lemon Trees went to the front. Following Stuart Miller here. They're just eating through these B riders and C riders as if they're going backwards.
It is. Look at the speed.
The difference in speed's phenomenal, especially on hills.
Shocking.
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 A little bit of a downhill here, and then it kicks up again. So there's still that gap there. The guys in the fronts, Walker and Watson, have that. What's down to 1 second now?
So they're being caught anyway.
Yeah, they've been caught here, but it looks they're come back together. They're just catching the C riders there. Just see Dougie Lenny's name here. They're just about to catch Dougie Lenny as well. Dougie, give them a wave.
Or jump on, either or.
So this is a very strong front group now.
Anybody got track
6
of the head of
riders.
the race?
That's a silly question, you know, we don't.
It's really hard, especially
Really hard, yeah.
Especially in a chase race, it's virtually impossible to follow unless you have about 3 or 4 people following the race.
Nathan Kieran seems to be riding really strong tonight. He's staying up well with the front group here of the A's as well.
Yeah, they've come back together again, so they will probably stay together. This group, they're going to have to ride together to try and catch the front of the race.
You're looking at a minute between the lead B group and your group, Ross. At this timed it there, so there's a minute to make up.
Not much in it now. There's a few kilometres to go still.
I'm gonna flick over to Swift Bar and see if I can get ahead of the race here.
Yeah, I see some of the C riders as well being caught. Recognised, we just went past Helen Murray as well, so she was the 3rd place lady in the C category.
Head of the race is still a B rider. Don't have any names. It's just the wee map I'm following on Swiftpower.
Well, I see the head of the C category are more or less approaching the top of the hill at the minute. I've just seen in the Swift Companion app, Gregory Gout, the leader of the C League. So I think Gregory is about a minute in front of this A group at the moment. So the A's haven't got very far to go to the top. In fact, there's the banner now. So I think they're going to make the Cats tonight, guys.
So you might be right this time.
If Swiftpower is correct, I have the leading D rider at 40 kilometers.
Oh,
The leading D
might not
rider,
then.
so he mightn't be a proper official D.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I don't have a name or anything, but he is at almost 40 Ks.
According to 39.5k, Davy Gordon is the first official D on the road.
Sure, they've covered some distance even just in the time. Like they're up to 37.2k there, and I felt like just a minute ago they were on like 30, 31. So they're fairly motoring.
I'm going to try and find Davy Gordon quickly here.
But is he a real D?
He is, isn't he?
He is. Yes, he is indeed. Yeah.
A bit of a descent here, Ross. What happened? What's next on the course after this?
Super tuck this as best you can. You can actually, when this one levels out, you cross this steel structure, this bridge here. Super tuck for another 20 meters on it, believe it or not, before you need to start pedaling.
Okay.
Right, I find D Gordon.
He should be he's on his own too.
He's on his own. 41 kilometers covered.
Wow.
Uh,
And the time is about right as well, so they're over the hour, so he's nearly the hour and 10 minutes.
can anybody confirm that a guy called I Geary is a proper D? Because he's ahead of him.
He's not coming up in Swift Power, so he's not registered, so we didn't look at him.
We'll stick with Davey. Davy's going to stay away here, I reckon.
Yeah, looks like it. Ross, you could be wrong.
He's got under 1k to go, I think.
Judging by the, what do you call it, your the rider list, I think there's C riders have caught him or ahead of him.
You're joking. Swift Power's lying.
I wouldn't click on them just to be on the safe side, but they say we're following the A's here. There's only a couple of kilometres to go for these guys. It's still quite a big group. I didn't think there'd be that many of them by the finish here.
Which is a good sign as well, though, that they are riding together. I was impressed that, like, well, I suppose this is the group that got away on the volcano climb, and they haven't been caught since.
So a couple of B riders here. We're following R. Kelly from the TUZ. He's hanging on for the grim death here. You see the heart rate's 177 beats. He's doing
Very good.
300 watts just to sit in the draft of the A riders. So that sort of tells you the difference in watts per kilo from A to B.
Not holding on to the A riders. He's moving up through the group here.
He's drafting the best he can.
Fair play.
Russell Kelly, his name is.
Well done, Russell. Good going.
This should be an interesting sprint finish here because it's a flat running all the way to the finish.
What point do you think there'll be an attack launched for the finish? Seeing as there's still quite a big bunch of A's.
You could, well, it would basically, it depends. It's a hard one to judge. Somebody who's not a good sprinter, I would try and go chance my arm and go from quite far out. It's not far out, 700-800 meters out, and try and catch him by surprise. Start from the back of the group, roll up in the saddle, and then kick as hard as you can, basically. Like Nathan Kuhn's just kicked here. 8 watts per kilo, 9 watts per kilo, 600 watts. He's going for a long one, and he's still about 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers to go.
Yeah.
So he's launching this from 2K out.
He's went long.
Davy Gordon has finished.
Good riding, Davy Gordon. He could potentially take the win then.
Possibly, we don't know. The Swift Power gives us some proper results here.
So you can see Nathan's went for a long one. There's riders, they're still catching big groups of D's and C's and so on. You see that the bunches in front of Nathan as well here.
Yeah.
He's digging deep. Heart rate's doing 185, just keeping an eye on the riders behind. Stuart Miller's on the front trying to close him down.
Long way to go.
It's a long way to go.
Do you think it's an advantage to the fact that they are going through other groups as well? So are people going to be getting stuck in the draft?
It can be an advantage and it can be a disadvantage, especially the Nathan's riding at 6 watts per kilo, so he's catching guys in front of him who are riding like 2.5, 3.5 watts per kilo, so he's going to get not really much benefit in the draft there. If he caught a bunch of 100 off them, maybe, but he's just been caught again. So
yeah, just gone back into the group.
they're catching a big group of B's and C riders in front of them again here. You can see Nathan could struggle to hold the wheels here. He's starting to go straight out the back after that big effort.
Oh no.
Yeah, good dig. So he's pushing, kicking to get back in again.
Still.
Hopefully he gets back on there. That was a really good effort that he was doing.
Could get caught out in the sticky draft here, but he's pushing on. He's still doing over 400 watts, so he's digging deep.
It looks like he'll get back in there.
Yeah,
Okay,
no doubt.
Good, good. And he's just actually gone past there, Claire Richardson and Mark Rushby in the keys.
Yeah.
So
Now you can see 400 watts. She's trying to get back into that draft of the A riders.
and she'll probably hold them as well.
She'll be going well. There's not far to go now for these guys, so we'll try and get back into this, see who's going to be one of the better sprinters here. Do you want to take your bets, guys? Who's going to win this sprint?
It's not Nathan. I think he's blasted too early.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Lindsay. We know I'm a fan.
He has to get a win in the last stage. He has to.
Come on, Lindsay. I've said it now, so you're just gonna have to do it.
I'd put my money on Seth Dunwoody.
That's a good safe bet with the performance he's been doing so far.
French guy still there too. Can't look past
Oh
that.
yeah, we forgot about Lemon Tree.
He's very light, so I wouldn't class him as a top sprinter. I'm looking at his Swift power stats. He's not. There we go. 1 kilometer to go, guys. That's a 1 kilometer banner. There's a stone arch over the road, and the finish line's just underneath it. Here we go. You can see the finish line coming up. Power ups go about to start get dropping.
Oh, I see a few red numbers there.
Oh, the red
12
numbers
watts
coming
per
up
kilo.
in there. Jeez, those are some numbers. 13.4 watts per kg for
13 watts per kilo.
Dunwoody.
Oh,
Is he going to get it? Is he going to get caught in the line?
oh.
I think nipped on the line.
Per kg there.
Let's see. Swift Power can tell us anything quickly.
I think he got nipped on the line, but what a finish from all
Yeah.
them guys. That was a great finish from the A-Cat.
Yeah, it was very close. They're all up 12 watts per kilo in that sprint.
That was very impressive. I'm pretty sure I saw Seth hit like 14 watts per kg at one point, so fair play to him. That was a phenomenal sprint.
Very possible because he's very light. He's sub 60 kilos, you know. So